What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Culture 316 podcast. I'm one of your hosts and producers, Jordan Nahisi.
Joined by your co-host, Mo. What's up, people? And also screw Hulk Hogan.
And thank you guys so much. I jumped in prematurely. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. Obviously, house rules. If you are listening on Apple or Spotify podcasts, be sure to give us a 5 stars. Be sure to subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have money, because it is Friday, be sure to get your MWO merch immediately.
All right. If you got money.
And if you have money, if you have money, get your MWO merch. We got children's shirts available now, so be sure to let people know that Mo on a weekday is for the kids. Notice I said the weekday, not the weekend. But anyway, we're not gonna waste any more time. We're gonna get right into the show. So as per announced this past Monday on Monday Night Raw, CM Punk is going to be on commentary for the Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania XL in Philly, going down next weekend, I believe. It's kind of crazy how time is moving this fast. But I just wanted to know your thoughts on CM Punk's involvement in WrestleMania 40 despite being injured.
It was inevitable because, to be honest, they brought him back with obviously most likely giving him the main event spot on one of the nights. Like, let's be honest. There's no way they're going to have a whole WrestleMania without him, especially with the whole build they had with him and Seth. And I feel like it makes it that much juicier because, he's great on commentary, right? But now it's like, you already got this hot feud going on with Seth and Drew. I love the tidbits, both online, on screen. The promos have been bomb. But now, like, while you're watching, you can't help but to think about, is he going to screw either of them? Because they both hate CM Punk, you know? But he may just hate one person just a little bit more than the other, you know? So we got so much content going on in one match between a really good matchup between the both of them, CM Punk's commentary, but also, is he going to make an interference and screw one of them, like when the referee's not looking? We don't know, but Seth did kind of tease something and was, coming at him saying, that's your good arm to get the 3 count, and you better not miss mine. He could also be a dickhead to a slow count. We don't know. I feel like it's fun. It's great. The match would have been fine without him, but I feel like the fact that they're adding him in, it kind of puts more continuity to make this extend to SummerSlam, which I think is what's going to happen, because he should be healed by then, right? He's been injured for how long? A couple months now?
A little bit over. I think it's happened at the Rumble, so it's coming up on 2 months now since his injury.
He might be good by then, so I feel like it's smart. It's a very good gameplay, and I think everyone loves it so far. But what do you think?
Man, I think it's genius. Obviously, it was inevitable, but it is genius because the fact that CM Punk is going to be involved in this match in some way, shape, or form, I think introduces an element that makes this match a little bit unpredictable. Like you said, Punk hates both of them. One got him injured. One's been kind of crap talking him since he was since he was outside of the WWE, was one of the first people to greet him into WWE unceremoniously, of course, and kind of had a promo that aged kind of gracefully considering that Punk got injured. So I think that it introduces an element into this match that makes the match unpredictable. And obviously that just makes everything a lot more fun. I think that this is also a showing creatively of Triple H's booking, because this is the first time, I think this is the first WrestleMania that is completely under the control of Triple H. And I can honestly say I don't know what's going to happen. And that's how wrestling should feel. It should feel unpredictable. It should feel like something's about to pop off, but you don't know it's about to pop off. Like even with the Rock and Roman tease, which we'll talk about later, because I think we mentioned it later into the show. But I think it's great. I think it's fun. This is how wrestling is supposed to feel. It's supposed to feel unpredictable. So that's how I feel about it. But, let us know how y'all feel about it. Punk on commentary for the World Heavyweight title match. I think it's going to be super interesting, but let us know in the comments how y'all feel. But we are moving on. So, while we're on the topic of CM Punk, while we're on the topic of Raw, this past Monday night on Raw, they drew the largest crowd for a Monday Night Raw in 5 years. Obviously, they were in Chicago, which is a infamous wrestling city. We saw CM Punk come back. But I kind of wanted to know, why do you think that they were able to sell out? Was this a Punk thing, or do you just think this is just kind of like a sign of the times as it pertains to pro wrestling right now?
I think it's a mixture of. You could definitely contribute it to Punk because, I mean, Chicago, regardless of what Punk does, where he stands, Chicago's always going to support Punk. So that's obviously gonna be number one. Number two, yes, it's WrestleMania season. People tend to tune in more. That, like, if you're a casual and maybe like you don't sit there and watch every single week, you're more inclined to tune in leading up to WrestleMania because you know that it's gonna get better. But not for nothing, I really want to say, ever since this year started, they've been doing a really good job. Like really, really good job. Like, wrestling is hot. Wrestling is fun. And they've been throwing new things at us. They've been getting more with the culture. I feel like wrestling's just feeling cool again. And I like it. I love it, actually. And it doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me at all whatsoever. And I feel like it's I don't know how many years it's been since wrestling felt just like this, but it feels like wrestling's back on the map, and it's okay to like yell it out loud now that, yo, I'm a wrestling fan.
Right.
You know, I actually been noticing too, ironically, that like even more celebrities online have been trying to ask to work with the WWE, tagging the WWE. I mean, I saw a video of Sexy Red just yesterday, or was it this morning? She was over here singing freaking Shawn Michaels theme in the car with some random people smoking high, just getting lit. And like, we've been seeing all the other appearances from other rappers. Like, I just feel like it's been becoming more mainstream to like wrestling out loud because it's just slowly becoming cool. And that's awesome. Like, I love it. Like, yeah, it could be a dork out loud. I mean, I've already been one out loud. But I could be a dork even more out loud. Love it. Yeah. What do you think about it?
You said I could be a dork even louder. I think we are in, somebody put this on Twitter, and I wish I knew the handle, and I would give credit if I knew the handle, but we're in the Renaissance era of pro wrestling. This is... WWE has been able to, I believe that the competition between AEW and WWE has put WWE in a position where they had to dig deep into their bag to be at the creative best that they can possibly be. And I think that they've been able to take what was cool about the Attitude Era, and they were able to incorporate it into modern day WWE successfully without it being corny or cheesy or feeling too old. And I also believe that, you know, like you said, WWE wrestling is cool again. And I feel like more wrestlers not only are claiming their fandom out loud, but people who weren't tapped in are like, yo, what's happening in wrestling? Should I be watching it again? I hear a bunch about wrestling. And that's a good place to be in, is when people are trying to tap in and catch up, because it shows that it's culturally getting to the place that it used to be. Now, as far as the Monday Night Raw sellout, I think that it was CM Punk, but I also think that ultimately, if you don't have a good show, people are not going to show up, right? And Raw has been significantly better than it used to be. SmackDown has been significantly better than what it used to be. And WWE touts a bunch of stars, whether we talk about Seth Rollins, whether we talk about CM Punk, whether we're talking about The Rock, whether we're talking about Jey Uso, whether we're talking about Rhea Ripley, Cody Rhodes. Like, there's so many different attractions in WWE now that there's no one sole reason to show up to a Monday Night Raw. And Punk is Chicago, but I just believe that the WWE is so stacked right now with star power that it's like, if you're going to a Monday Night Raw at this point, you're going for multiple reasons. But that's how I feel about that. But let us know. First Monday Night Raw crowd that drew this much in 5 years. Are we experiencing a renaissance in pro wrestling? My answer is yes. Mo's answer is yes, but we want to know your answer. So comment below. But we are moving on. So one of the things that has been circulating over the past year, really since WWE announced that they were having WrestleMania in Philadelphia, is that, and I think it's more so us, and by us, I mean the Blacks, we have been very, very vocal about getting Meek Mill involved in WrestleMania. As you know, he is the author and the orator of the modern day Negro spiritual known as Dreams and Nightmares. He is a Philadelphia native, one of the biggest rappers right now, just out in the past 25 years in general. Meek is Philadelphia. And finally, Triple H responded to Meek Mill in a tweet I'm going to read this tweet out right now. But essentially, he said, I'm gonna pull this up right now. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I am making sure that this. So Meek essentially kind of reached out to Hunter and said, we kind of want to pull up, me and my kids, we want to go to WrestleMania. Triple H says, I got you, Meek Mill. It's your city, and WWE is just coming to have some fun. Clear your schedule. He said, clear the schedule, bro. We got you. So are we going to see a Meek Mill? I know we're going to see a Meek Mill appearance. Do you think we're going to get Dreams and Nightmares at WrestleMania Philly?
If that opened it, yo, I hate all of you that got tickets. If he opens up, and it's Triple H, and he loves performances. He loves live performances. So I don't put it past him. I feel like there's a good 78% chance. It's a good 78% chance. We're gonna get either like there's a little tidbit. It may not be a full performance, but he. What else you gonna do with me? Because we're not gonna hand him a mic, unless it's the rap. Triple H, you know what to do. Stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. What do you think?
All I have to say is that if Meek Mill performs Dreams and Nightmares at WrestleMania Philadelphia, I think racism ends. I think that's the end. We wouldn't really need a Black Lives Matter movement anymore. It's over. It's done. On a serious note, though, I last year at WrestleMania, we saw Lil Uzi perform I Just Want to Rock at Mania 39. I feel like if that's possible, this is more than doable. And so I think that Meek Mill should definitely be involved at WrestleMania 40. I think that he should perform at WrestleMania 40. And I believe that he should perform Dreams and Nightmares at WrestleMania 40. I think that will go crazy. That would be a great moment for him. But, we'll see what happens. Like the WWE likes to say, you'll never know. You never know what's going to happen at WrestleMania. So, but how do y'all feel about Meek Mill at WrestleMania 40? Do you want to see him perform Dreams and Nightmares? Let us know in the comments below. But we're moving on. So moving on from that, while we're on this kind of WWE streak, WWE has announced 2 new series. One is an exclusive series to Roku entitled WWE Next Gen, very similar to some previous programming, and we'll make those comparisons later in the segment. And another series that is exclusive to X, formerly known as Twitter, called WWE Speed. As far as a summary of both programs, WWE Next Gen is going to be a series executive produced by John Cena, and it's following the lives of some WWE prospects. And WWE Speed is going to be in a series that is exclusive to X, that is going to be giving some high-paced, fast 3-minute matches, and they are also going to have a WWE Speed Championship. So I want to know, how do you feel about these 2 programs, and which are you most excited for, WWE Speed or WWE Next Gen?
Well, as a person that really, really loves reality television, and I actually enjoyed watching Tough Enough, I'm going to have to side with Next Gen. Just because I really like I do love watching wrestling, but I also love watching the journey and getting to know people. And, fortunately, like sometimes when you do make it onto WWE, we don't really get to learn some of these people until maybe we get a hold of their social media and we could look into their lives. But it's nice to see the journey of them making it in, going through the hardships, the ups and downs, because being a wrestler is not easy. It's not. Shit, I took classes for a few weeks and I understand now. I really understand now. They make it look easy for us, bro. They make it look so easy, but it takes blood, sweat, tears. You had to be a lunatic to step into the ring. You had to be a lunatic and you had to be full of yourself to both balance being in the ring, accepting the fact that you're signing off on a contract that if you get injured, baby, that's on you. Because who told you to throw your body off the top rope? Again, a lunatic would sign up for this. But you do it for the sport. You do it for the sport. On top of that, you got to be an actor. You got to be an actor that resonates with the with the audience, and that's so hard to do. So I think it's a beautiful thing to have shows like this, or that's why I guess I like watching Tough Enough the first time, because you get to have some insight on what these people were like and build a connection with them on a personal level, not just a character level. And now you're seeing it, you're seeing it reborn again, if you will, with Next Gen. And I like it. We have familiar faces. I saw Big E in the commercial they promoted. I feel like it's gonna be a fun show to watch. Not gonna lie, it makes me feel old knowing that John Cena is the executive producer. Like, sir, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you're executive producer right now? Like, I already felt old watching Shawn and Triple H go backstage. What are you doing? Like, get back out there and do the. That's your thing. That's your thing. Not going back there.
He said doing the. That's crazy.
That's your thing. Get from behind them curtains, Cena. But no, on a serious note, with him being back there, I come to learn watching Cena off of his own reality antics with the Bellas that he's very intelligent, very intuitive. He really loves the sport, appreciates it from a different angle. So I feel like if he is the one, pulling strings back there and directing things, then we're gonna get a very humanistic approach to this. So I'm very much interested. What do you think?
I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm more excited about WWE Next Gen. I think we were kind of talking about this before the show, that Next Gen feels like Tough Enough and Speed feels like Velocity or like a Sunday Night Heat type of situation. But ultimately, they talk about it in wrestling, and it rings true in just general entertainment. It's about the stories of these people that draws us in, that makes us fans, that makes the audience resonate with the athlete and or performer. And so I think that Speed is going to be a show that is going to be very, very exciting. It's going to be very, very good. Social media wise, shareable content always wins. So I think it's going to do very, very well, and I will be tapped into that. But I feel like with Next Gen, you're going to be able to have that ability to tell stories in a way that Speed probably isn't. I feel like they're apples and oranges. They're two different things. You can't compare them. But as far as just the thing that I'm most excited about, it's definitely going to be WWE Next Gen. It's kind of crazy because the commercial shows that they were like, John Cena was on a ramp at Mania 39. And it just goes to show you how much content WWE is just filming at all times. Because you have a reality show being recorded, that you had Next Gen being recorded, you had Love in WWE being recorded, you had Mania 39 being recorded, and it was all at the same time. They're doing all of this at the same time, and for 3 different platforms. You have one for Hulu, one for Roku, and one for pay-per-view. And one for Peacock. That's nuts. That's nuts. How do you have
production team works overtime, bro.
That production team works harder than Satan. How do you, because what? Why are you doing all these shows and all this content at the same time? But I think it's going to be great. I think all the programming is going to be great. But I feel like WWE Next Gen is definitely going to be on my radar. But let us know how y'all feel in the comments. Which show are you excited for, WWE Speed or WWE Next Gen? But we're going to be moving on. Woo. So speaking of WWE and speaking of stories, it seems like former WWE superstar, former MMA legend Ronda Rousey has been airing out some grievances, to say the least, regarding Triple H, regarding WWE, regarding Vince McMahon. And I kind of wanted to know your take on this. I wanted to know kind of your take on her remarks.
I'll be honest, it all comes off very weird. I could see myself being on her side if, let's just say, from 2018 onward, that was her experience in WWE, so she was going through it with everybody else. But she has made multiple appearances with WWE, where she was working around, the giants and whatnot. Right. She already went backstage. She already talked to Vince. She already would talk to the execs and stuff like that. I mean, how else do you get onto a WrestleMania stage, Ronda? She did all that. She took her bag then. So she already kind of knew what she was getting her toes dipped into. And also, it's not like it's private knowledge about the abuse that women go through with WWE. There's been lawsuits. It's just that this is the biggest lawsuit.
Right.
So my confusion here is like, why all of a sudden now? Because you came back a third time for a full-time contract. You already experienced this company more than once. Now you're coming back in for a full-time contract. And it felt like when she first came in, there was light in her eyes, that she actually enjoyed being here, such as she did the first couple of times. And then it dwindled down very, 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 very fast. But it dwindled down. it dwindled down in parallel to when the fans turned on her. And then I just noticed from there on, she just didn't give a hoot about like, was the match good, improving in the ring, her promos. It just got bad and worse and worse and worse. And it's just so funny replaying that Adam Pearce promo that went viral before, because it's just like, you could tell that's when it was at its worst, but how they felt towards her. Can there be some truth to what she's saying? Yes, it just comes off weird, because just like, you still came back to collect multiple bags. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that, yes, women obviously went through hell with the WWE, but she kind of just makes it seem like she's, I guess, at the same level that the other women had to be. Like, the women that came into the WWE that are on the roster now that are suffering is because they had to build themselves from the ground up getting here. Like, they, out of desperation and to keep their job and to keep their money, because they don't have anywhere else to go, they had to be subjected to these things. Ronda was fine. She had a name for herself. This is not a choice. Like, no one's forcing you to be here. So when I hear her make her complaints that she's talking about what she went through, it's like not even close to what the other woman had to endure. And she still had it relatively good. So she made it seem like she was put through the embarrassing matches. She made it seem like she was put to do demoralizing things. And it's just like, from the looks of it, it's like they still pampered you while you were here. You still got what you wanted. You still got a belt. You still had a long run. You actually ruined Sasha Banks' moment. I'm not letting it go. You had a WrestleMania moment. You didn't need to have that. They gave you like this big gimmick name of the baddest bitch on the planet. And you got to work with your best friend on the way out. I mean, not for nothing, it looks like you had it pretty well.
Right.
Now, I was listening to her interview, and she was saying that she had way more to say, but like there was a limit on her book on what she could say. Otherwise, she was going to rip into John Laurinaitis. That I was actually interested in hearing about, because, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as Ronda goes, it kind of just seems like she wants to give herself something to do. I don't think she's saying anything that we didn't already know, that's not been already revealed to by somebody else or the lawsuit. Like, I'm not seeing anything here that's like new. Like it just seemed like you're cashing in because you know WrestleMania is around the corner. So let me drop this book. Let me drop this now while Vince got a lawsuit. His hands are tied. They're at the peak of their own thing. So everyone's going to run over to this. And I don't think it's going to hit the way she thinks it's going to hit. That's just me personally. I do think that she probably went through her own experience, but it's just like, to me, I don't see what was the point of her putting her 2 cents of what she's seen behind the scenes. But do you see something else that maybe I'm missing? Because it's an eye roll for me.
I agree. It's an eye roll to me as well. I think it's interesting how you can critique the same system that benefited you. I think if we're being completely honest and transparent, like you said, all these things that are being critiqued are things that it's kind of public knowledge that WWE has done. We know the abuse that, Vince McMahon has inflicted on innocent women, and it should be dealt with accordingly. However, I don't think that this is coming from a place of the desire to communicate truth. I think it's just a matter of bitterness, right? You came in, you got blinded by the lights, and when people started to see who you were as a performer and began to critique you, you became less concerned about the company's well-being and their image, as well as the opportunities of the people around you. And so I think that this is coming from a place of, I'm going to stick it to them because I'm mad that it didn't go out the way that I expected it to go. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the reason why she's talking about it now. I think that's the reason why she walked out of the company the way that she did. I think that's the reason why she joined AEW briefly. I think that is the root of all of this. And I think that it's important to, let me just go back to my original point, which is that the same system that you are critiquing is the same system that you benefited from. The same people that were abusing women operate from the mindset that prior to, this new regime, right? Like the same women that, or the same people that were abusing women were the same people that believed that people like you deserve to be at the top of the card. And so I feel like once that is put into perspective, it's kind of weird that you're talking about it now, and that not even just now. I think you kind of talked about it briefly before, but I just feel like the energy just wasn't kept. And I think that it's primarily because you just wanted to milk everything from where you were. And once you got what you wanted and you was out of there, then you wanted to air it out. But if you're going to air it out from day one, bro. Like keep the same energy. And this is not me trying to slam Ronda Rousey. I think that she's a legend. I think that she is an icon. When we're talking about combat sports, I'm not talking about her wrestling career. When we're talking about MMA, she's a trailblazer in her own right. But I just think the energy just wasn't consistent from day one, and that's what bothers me. But let us know how you feel in the comments below about this particular issue. But we're going to be moving on to our favorite, Mrs. Jade Cargill, who is slated to make her SmackDown debut tonight on SmackDown. She was seen courtside at an Atlanta Hawks versus Boston Celtics game, and people obviously were asking her about her debut. And she said, and I quote, "You just keep tuning in. Some big shit is coming." So I don't know what that means, but Jade is making her debut tonight on SmackDown. How do you feel? What are you expecting?
Excellent timing, because I feel like saving her for after Mania would be stupid. And it teases the idea of if we're going to have her on the WrestleMania card, which I feel like she should have a little bit of involvement, because, I mean, look at her. Now, we know Jade looks like a star. She talks like a star, but her weak points was, can she wrestle? We got to see a little something during the Royal Rumble, which was a good place to, I guess that was a good spot for her, considering that having other women around her helps her as a worker, and it was minimal because she just had to do like little spot after spot. It wasn't full on wrestling. So what I'm thinking that they're trying to do is maybe they might align her in like the Damage Control feud, maybe put her around like Bianca and Naomi, just because if she's working around other people, it helps pace her and cover her up while she's still learning to wrestle. Which I'm sure she's been going ham in the PC. I totally believe that. I feel like she's been sharpening, but I don't think that Hunter was stupid enough to take someone that looks as great as that and allow her to fail by forcing her into a singles feud right away. I feel like they rather have her implanted to another feud. Maybe like they need a third partner between Bianca and Naomi, and they just then insert Jade. Because it didn't look like during Royal Rumble that Jade had an issue with Bianca. It looked like they had a stare down of respect, like, girl, I'm going to get you. If I like you, but I'm going to get you at some point, right? So I feel like that if you implant her there, then you could do a lot with the three of those women. You could. You could down the line have a triple threat with them, for crying out loud. But let's hold off. I feel like they're going to insert her into the feud. Maybe they'll have a 3-on-3 match or a 2-on-2 match, whatever the hell they're gonna do with Damage Control versus Jade, Bianca, Naomi. And I feel like that will give us time to see Jade shine on her own, but still have that backing from two other talented veterans. And then maybe over time we could like get an angle going with SummerSlam where she does work with either Bianca or a Naomi, and it runs into Mania. But I'm expecting the most. I'm expecting a grandiose entrance. I'm expecting her entrance to go crazier than whatever we got from a Mercedes. Like, I'm expecting like top notch, just like roll out the red carpet for her type of entrance. And I'm excited. I'm excited. And I feel like it's going to be well done. Whatever it is, I think she's going to do enough to shock us and show us some new things, show us that she improved and shut all the haters up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I think they're going to do game plan wise with Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they want to see her succeed and they want to have her here for, even if she's not here for a long time, for a good amount of time, to like create an impact and not let her fail. Yeah, that's what I think.
So going off of that, I think that this is the perfect time for Jade to debut. I think that when it's WrestleMania season, there are more eyes on the WWE product than usual, whether that's on TV, whether that's on social and digital. It's WrestleMania season. It's the busiest time of the year. And I think that if you want to make somebody matter, you do it in WrestleMania season. Like you said, you know, she looks like a star. She walks, she talks like a star. Obviously, when they first brought her in, they said that they wanted, you know, her to train a little bit more. And, you know, I believe in the WWE performance system. I believe in that center. I believe in the guys and the girls that they have over there. And I expect really, really good things to great things from Jade. And I feel like this is just good for her. I'm just excited to see what happens. I don't know what to expect because she's been away for so long that there's no real expectation, right? Like I don't have an expectation for Jade because I feel like when she first came in, everybody was just trying to figure out who she should go against for Mania, right? Yeah. Oh, she should go against Bianca. She should go against Charlotte. She should go against Rhea. She should win the Royal Rumble. But it's like now that all of that has passed, it's like now she can just be her and she doesn't have the pressure of having good booking on her because it's just like everything's set for Mania and everybody is pretty satisfied with what's about to happen for Mania.
Yes.
And where Jade could just be Jade. And if she's involved in Mania, great. And if she's not, oh, well, there's always next year. But I'm excited for Jade's debut. I hope y'all are too. Let us know in the comments below how you feel about Jade's incoming debut tonight on SmackDown. But we are moving on. So another win for Black people, okay? Because AEW has just hired Kosha Irby. I hope I pronounced that name right. And he is the first COO of All Elite Wrestling. Not only that, he is also the first COO of a professional wrestling company. That's just so great to hear. He was previously employed. I'm going to read this real quick. This is coming from a press release from AEW.
Kosha Irby is kind of him.
AEW CEO Tony Khan, this is a press release from AEW, just for credit. AEW CEO Tony Khan has announced today that Kosha Irby has officially joined All Elite Wrestling as Chief Operating Officer. Irby will oversee all strategic planning and execution of live events, marketing, finance, human resources, licensing, consumer products, and other major lines of business for the company. He joins AEW from Clemson University, where he served as Chief Marketing Officer within the athletic department and previously held positions with the Memphis Express, of the Alliance of American Football as Chief Marketing Officer, Professional Bull Riders, as well as President and WWE as Regional Director of Live Events. Kosha brings decades of experience within the sports, entertainment, and wrestling industries alongside an incredible work ethic and passion for our brand, said Khan. As Chief Operating Officer, he will be a phenomenal asset to AEW as we enter the next phase of the company's ongoing business development and expansion. That is a press release from AEW regarding him. So now, with all things considered, how do you feel about this hire? How do you feel about this man being involved in AEW?
I mean, that's a big W for Black people. I mean, I don't know the individual, but obviously his credentials are pretty lengthy. So I'm very interested to see what they would do with the product with him involved. Mm-hmm. What impact do you think that he would have?
What do I think he's going to have?
Yeah, what impact do you think he would have?
I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off of Tony Khan. When we're talking about a chief operating officer, we're talking about kind of someone who serves as like a day-to-day operations person for a company. He is going to be the first point of contact, kind of, I don't want to say a liaison, but he's going to be like the first face, really, when it comes to executives as far as their first point of contact. Everything is going to be running through him, essentially. or all these divisions at least. And so that takes a tremendous amount of pressure off of Tony Khan. If he wants to continue with head of creative, he can allow himself to be head of creative and do all of these things and not have to worry about all the other logistics that he may not want to deal with. So I think this is a great move. I think this brings a lot of pressure off of Tony, brings a lot of pressure off of the board. And because of his credentials and his experience, he is experienced. He knows his job. You know what I mean? Like, he knows his job, and he has been doing a good job at everything he's been doing, because for you to work for places like Clemson University and WWE, those are big institutions. Those are big companies. And I think that this is just going to be great for the company. Having someone with that resume and that expertise, I think is going to do wonders for them. So that's how I feel. That's how I feel like he's going to impact the overall company and operations of it. But we want to know how y'all feel about the first ever Black COO of a wrestling company, Mr. Kosha Irby. I hope I pronounced that name right. If not, check me, Mr. Irby, and congratulations to you. And that wraps up our show for today. Thank y'all so much. Oh, just a quick announcement. I don't know about night 2, but I do know for night 1, we are doing a 316 space. So night 1 of Mania, 316 space. Y'all better join us. If not, I'm kicking somebody in the ankle. But we hope to see y'all there.
Might make a burner.
Not a burner. But we hope to see y'all there. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see y'all next week. Blah, 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 blah.